My mother's family is from Sharon, but we always had the house here. Did go to school here for for a while.
I figured I'd try it up here. The boys being up here changed their lives.
People slow down, and they're at their own pace.
We are projecting goes to Donald Trump, as does Kentucky. 8 electoral votes there. That's 2 in a row for Donald Trump. We also have the first projected state for Hillary Clinton.
House.
And look,
we were watching it, and I was pacing. And they're all like, oh, stop worrying. Come and watch it with us. And I just couldn't sit still. I was in 7th grade when President Kennedy was shot. And they announced it over the PA, which they would never do now, but it was just a blatant announcement. President Kennedy's been shot, he's died. Lyndon Johnson is the president. And I looked back, and the math teacher was in the back of the room in the last seat in the corner crying. And I was stunned. It was like, how can she cry over somebody she's never met? And yet, that's how I felt when it was official that Trump had been declared the winner.
Thank you.
I had gotten up in the morning. I'd figured that she had won till I'd listened to NPR that morning. And I was a little surprised because I didn't think that the country would actually put him in there. So I was a little shocked.
Naugatuck Valley is very similar to the Rust Belt and the issues and challenges that faced. Mm-hmm. And the fact that Hillary wasn't really talking to those people.
See, we've owned this restaurant for 5 years. The winters are horrible. Summers are great. But it's Sharon, Connecticut. I mean, if you look at it on a map, you probably miss it. So, we have our travelers in the summer. That's what gets us through.
A lot of people who live in the city and come here, our town is pretty much like 60% of the town is that.
When Obama came in 2008, having been one of the casualties and laid off from Berkshire Taconic, it was a disaster.
I almost remember it to the date. It was 2008 in February, and I was driving through, we were getting ready to do a big development in this place called Cordillera, Colorado. Everybody just picked up and left, so that they left the houses just to sit there.
The economy was on a free fall, and I can say as a state legislature, I didn't know what we were going to do in Connecticut. Roberta Willis, I was a state representative in Connecticut from 2000 to 2 weeks ago.
That was
right.
November when you were elected,
or? Yeah,
okay.
It was the Gore.
Yeah. I'm sure there were mixed feelings about getting the year win.
Which is interesting, where we are today, 16 years later, in the same freaking place.
Trump successfully sold, and his political machine successfully sold that life was as bad now as it was then. On what planet?
We now are looking at people's incomes starting to go up. I think people voted in the red states for change, but I don't know if they're prepared for what the change is going to be.
He's a businessman, so I'm hoping that he's going to do what's best for business, which is the United States, and there's probably no bigger business than that.
His appeal to you was his kind of his non-political demeanor.
Yes, definitely. I think that him not being a politician, per se.
Bullshit. I would ask you to go look it up in the dictionary. He gets things done all the time because he knows how to play people. That's a politician.
Elections have consequences, and this election is going to have serious consequences. We haven't fully grasped yet